Now let's dive deep into this big LGBTQ story for today. I'm Bonnie Builder, and let's clear up politics. Supreme Court will decide parents being able to object to LGBTQ books. The U.S. Supreme Court has agreed to hear an appeal from parents in Montgomery County, Maryland, challenging the use of LGBTQ-themed storybooks in elementary schools. The parents argue that being unable to opt their children out of such lessons violate their constitutional religious rights. Books in question include stories like a girl meeting her uncle's husband-to-be, a prince falling for a knight, and a transgender boy sharing his gender identity with his family initially. Initially, parents were allowed to opt out of these lessons, but the school district later reversed this policy, sparking protests in 2023. Parents claim that public schools shouldn't force participation in lessons that conflict with their faith. They are comparing this to opt-out options available for sex education. Lawyers for the school system defend the books, saying they are a small curriculum component showcasing themes of adventure, emotions, and self-expression, akin to classic tales like Cinderella and Peter Pan. The Washington Post reports 2 books, Pride Puppy and My Rainbow, have already been removed. The Supreme Court's decision could shape how schools balance inclusivity and parental rights. Arguments may occur this spring or in the court's October term. Now, I have a personal little anecdote for this story. When I was in grade school, which was not that long ago compared to the rest of y'all, we had to read a story that had the N-word in it. I was in middle school, and my dad saw this, and he got irate. He wrote a letter to the school, and I can't remember what happened. It's got all a little blurry, but it's a book that's famous, like Huckleberry Finn, something like that. Yeah. They had like a full use of the N-word, with the hard ER, and he got upset. I find that to be reasonable because he wanted to protect me. He didn't want, I went to a predominantly Jewish school. Okay. So there were very few black students there. So he just envisioned me being targeted with ridicule for being the only black student in that class, and the curriculum sort of allowing the students to say the N-word in context to reading the story. Gotcha. That makes more sense than this foolishness right here. Mm-hmm. You don't want your children to read stories just because there are queer themes throughout. Characters. We're all gay in some way, shape, or form. And we grew up in different times, but we all grew up watching hetero straight stories, hetero straight love things and things like that happening all the time. And we still turned out queer.
Didn't work.
It did not work. So it's not going to work the other way around. All it's going to do is educate these children on the broader world and what else there is out there. So this is straight up some foolishness. What y'all think?
Yeah, I think you can't use your religion to say that a whole group of people don't exist. Mm-hmm. I think these folks need to decide, are we kind of in the vision of the founders all created equal, or are you better than another group of people? So much better so that another group of people should have less dignity in the world and be less visible. I think that this is really a shameful stance that if you would have asked me about this 10 years ago, I would have said that that stance is un-American, to treat people like that, to try to remove people's dignity. I don't know that I can say that that's un-American anymore.
This is who we are.
Yes,
sadly.
Right. But it's
not all of us, but this is who we are.
But at the same time, what my question is more so in terms of how many books are being offered and how many books have this theme?
This content?
This content. Yeah. And if it truly is 1 or 2, you're making a mountain out of molehills. Secondly, it is not a religious school. It is a public school. If you want religious education, you go to Sunday school, or for a Jewish child, it would be whatever day of the week, or you go
and there are religious schools. There are schools that are in
you go to an all Catholic school or all Protestant school, and pay for it yourself. But it is what it is.
And these are also, I get the sense that these are characters within stories. It's not a storyline like, oh, be gay, do this, and it's really not about a promoting or a recruiting. Although I'm fine with that.
And at the same, and it's also a 12-page book. It's not like it's Huckleberry Finn at 223 pages. Right. You know, it's 8 pages, 12 pages, 20 pages.
And being gay is probably such a small part of that.
But for these kids, it doesn't matter.
Literally, yes. When I was
normalizing it,
when I was in grade school and I was discovering the diva that I would soon become, I literally went to the school library and found books on gay. Pretended like I was using it for an assignment. When I was caught by another student, I was like, "Oh yeah, I have Miss So-and-so's class assignment. You know how she is. I'm just gonna read this book on gay." And took it home, went through, and I was like, "Oh, how I feel is like legitimate and recognized. So even for the queer students in that school, this is so empowering to have books like this that reflect who they are and affirm their feelings. To have that taken away just tells these students who you are is not okay. The overhead figures are telling you, you are not okay. This is not where you belong. And that is sickening. I'm so happy I had that opportunity as a child, which again, not that long ago. And I want that to continue for the children. I painted younger today. I want the opportunity for the children to continue forward because it helped me, so I know it's going to help them.
I just think it's important that it's a non-issue. The more parents bring this up and make it a gay issue, then the children pay attention to it. If they just read the damn book, no one would give a rat's ass. The kids would be fine. They're like, look at the pretty colors. That's a good story. And they move on to the next topic.
And also making it wrong by honing in on it and making it an issue. Then, we can talk about suicide rates among young people. Then it leads to these kinds of stories because you're making it wrong.
Right.
And guilt tripping and all that kind of stuff.
I'd rather have more kids alive and a few parents offended
Exactly.
than the other way around.
But at the same point, go to a private school.
If you got it like that. That is a big LGBTQ story for today. There is no other queer nonprofit media platform like this in the entire world. Support our LGBTQ stories by subscribing and sharing queer news tonight.